We're previewing the 2022 Michigan State offense with great friend of the program. No one better to do this with. Stephen Brooks of 24/7 Sports. Oh yeah, let's go.
Are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
It's the most lovely people in the entire world, the listeners and viewers of Locked On Spartans. Thank you so much for kicking off your week with us here on the Locked On Spartans program, your team in green and white 5 days a week. And you know what? I start the show with saying, you lovely people, you guys are the greatest, but I got to be honest, and this is the cold, hard truth. I'm sorry, this might be difficult to hear for some people, but there is one person more beautiful than all of you combined, and that is the man with me right now, Stephen Brooks of 24/7 Sports. Elite friend of the program, elite friend in real life, just elite person all around. Steven, now that I've buttered you up like that, how you doing, man? You doing okay?
Boom. I'll take it. Excuse me. I appreciate the PJ Fleckisms there with the elite substitutions. But, hey, man, people know me. People know you. They love us, or they love you at least. Let's just get into some freaking football, man. I think that's what people want this time of year, middle of August. Let's get into it.
You're tired of just talking about recruiting and hypotheticals and preseason rankings. That's not doing it for you anymore.
No, I think I've got my finger sort of on the pulse a little bit. I think people just want some nitty gritty football talk, like camps going. You know, they know people out at high school camps and this and that. It's in the air, baby.
And hey, week 0 is coming in really hot. I think we're less than 2 weeks away from that. I'm looking at Nebraska versus Northwestern in Dublin, Ireland. On a higher shelf than I have the Super Bowl on. That's how excited I am for college football to start back up. But
oh yeah, no, I'm already thinking of who's going to be the Kenny Trill of this year. Who's going to have that week 0 breakout game? Yeah, if you know, it's a little bit of a deep cut, but someone's going to blow up that first week that we've never heard of before, and it's just going to be amazing. And it's just that first couple weekends, honestly. But there's nothing like this little ramp up. And even like tonight we were talking, well, I guess it'll be tomorrow, I think, when you guys hear this, but
sure.
The Lions preseason game, just we're in that mode now where football's just getting sprinkled back in our lives and you almost don't expect it. But then it's a surprise. So yeah, I love it. I love this time of year.
Are we back? I feel like we're getting back. This is really where we start hitting our stride, Steven. I'm feeling frisky right now. This is don't let us get hot.
You can tell them, but I think I'm going to be back, right? I don't know.
I think so.
Okay.
Speaking of, how about this for a professional segue right here, Steven? Speaking of back, the Michigan State football offense has a lot of returners coming back to the team. We're going to go through it all. We're going to go through position group by position group. What position group, what guys have left, staying around, what guys have come in through the transfer portal. And I was trying really hard to figure out the best position group to start this breakdown with. And honestly, there are 3 tied for first place that you could start with. But let's just kick it off with the biggest departure. And of course, I'm talking about running backs because, who did Michigan State lose in the running back room? Let's see, a guy named Kenneth Walker III, if I'm saying that right. I think I got his name correct right there. So that's who they lose. I'm sure he had an okay season last year. They keep Elijah Collins, Jordan Simmons, Davion Prim, Harold Joyner, if you will. But they also add, Stephen, Jarek, Broussard, and Jalen Berger. Those are going to be the 2 presumed starters or bell cows, if you will. Is the Jarek Broussard, Jalen Berger dynamic as simple as lightning and thunder? Kind of like for us older MSU fans, Javon Ringer, J.U. Colcrick? Or is it a little different than lightning and thunder? How do you dissect both of their games?
Yeah, I don't think it is similar in the sense that I do see them tag teaming this deal at the end of the day. I do think it'll be more of a 1A, 1B situation, and probably with those 2 guys, I don't really think anybody in that whole room will probably separate themselves the way Kenneth Walker did, just in terms of being the lead dog definitively. So I think, Berger and Broussard, to me, seem like the guys who will emerge there. I mean, this is the month for guys to make their move and prove it and do it. It's just, I say that, to your original point, they'll work in tandem, I think, but neither of them is really the Thunder necessarily, I guess either. They do have different skill sets, but neither of them is like a battering ram type of guy. And I don't think either of them's really like a sprinter burner either. They both have different skill
Sure.
sets, but and they're both quick. I should say, but I don't think either of them's like Noel Devine or something out there either. So I'm very curious to see that. I think this scrimmage this weekend will be a big thing for that position group, especially. And there's so many guys, like everyone, they're all going to have to maximize every carry that they get, especially some of those guys who maybe are on the lower end of that pecking order at this point, because there's just so many that so many reps to go around in practice, and they're really going to have to make the most of them, because otherwise, I think again we're going to probably see those transfers filter their way to the top.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And so, 1A, 1B for Broussard and Berger, universally known, of course. But we have familiar names, right? Like Eli Collins. He's been here since 2008, seemingly, right? I mean, Jordan Simmons has been here since 2009. Like, these are guys that have been here for a long time, but obviously has fallen down the pecking order. First of all, like, I'm shocked that they're still both here, that neither of them entered the transfer portal. But second of all, let's focus on, this question, not my random thoughts that I have. Which of those two guys do you think has a better chance of making a good impact this season between Collins and Simmons, if you had to choose one of them to be a great third fiddle running back?
I guess I would go Jordan Simmons just sort of by default, though. Like, we just haven't seen anything out of Elijah Collins since Mel Tucker and these guys have been here. So I truly don't know, like, what's up with him. He had COVID in 2020 and that set him back. And then he got hurt early last year and that set him back. So I don't really know where he stands these days. Clearly not, super high in things. But whereas Jordan Simmons, we did see him consistently last year, whether Eli was healthy or not. And so, we saw him get the first carry in the Peach Bowl. I think that says something. So I would just have to sort of guess based on putting together some of the breadcrumbs there that it would be him. But I've always also, it's tough for me to say that, because I've also always still felt that Collins has something left in the tank there. I mean, I remember watching that 2019 season where he broke out and had almost 1,000 yards.
Right.
And like, I was like, man, like, he's a really natural runner. He fits into like that zone scheme really well. And just, he had some patience to him. He just did a little bit of everything. Maybe didn't do anything great, but he could do a lot of things pretty well. And I was like, man, that's just a solid college running back right there. And I'm still to this day surprised that we haven't really seen anything like that since then. And again, he's had some setbacks and some issues, so it hasn't been a linear path or anything. But yeah, so I'm intrigued by him. I know a lot of people are. But based on the context clues of last year and adding two more guys in, I wouldn't think he's probably going to be a main fixture of any kind.
And another name that was thrown around in the spring constantly was Davion Prim. Like, Mel Tucker talked about Davion Prim the way us Michigan State fans like myself talk about Mel Tucker. Like, you could have talked about a man
That's good.
More glowingly than he talked about Davion Prim. Like, is there still smoke there? Like, is that a thing, or was that just kind of a fun little spring headline that happened that's now gone?
I don't think it was like intentionally deceptive or anything in the spring. I think he truly had a good spring. I haven't heard as much that he's followed it up, this camp. But again, Broussard came in here now, and I'm sure that's changed the picture a little bit. And now that's one more guy, at the table eating into everybody's reps and practice and everything. So, he's getting less opportunity. He's still a young dude, trying to figure this all out, competing with some veteran guys who have been through multiple training camps before. So I still think he's, in the mix. I wouldn't be stunned, talking about Jordan Simmons and Eli. I wouldn't be stunned if Prim ends up as that third guy.
Gotcha.
I think he's still probably got some things to do this camp and whatnot. And again, scrimmages, for him, I think will be a big opportunity to sort of prove it. But I wouldn't be stunned at all. I don't think it was total smoke, that they were blowing in the spring. But he was also so young that you were kind of like, is this a year away though? At the same time,
Yeah, that checks out. So, like, I don't know. I just couldn't tell if, he's actually wowing people, or if this was like the football version of, hey, Tum Tum's 3-point shot is really coming along.
It truly was, but whether it was like, a lot from where he came from, or relative how that would look relative to the other backs, especially their room right now, that's harder to say. But at least sort of in a vacuum, people were impressed with him.
Yeah, right on. and you froze a little still hear me because we got a lot more to get to right now. We have, I think this is all on my end. Sorry about that. But we have receivers to get through, Steven. We have tight ends to get through. We have quarterbacks to get through. We also have who we will talk about next, the offensive line. But Steven, I'm so sorry. I just got to take your face off the screen for a hot second because I got to talk to the fine folks about LinkedIn Jobs. That's right, gang. You already know what LinkedIn is. It is one of the greatest social media platforms out there and the very best platform for finding your job and also finding people to fill in jobs that you may need to fill. Because as you gear up for fall, you need to find the right people on your team to help your small business fire on all cylinders. LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Then add your job and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can find you and you can find the people to fill your network. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on the right candidates with the right skills and the right experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. That's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. And did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? That's a lot of job seekers. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. And as we welcome back the wonderful Stephen Brooks of 24/7 Sports to talk about Michigan State football's offense, I just want to thank you very much for making Locked On Spartans your first listen every single day. Stephen, we got to talk about the big fellas here. Got to talk about the offensive line because, hey, this just in, they are going to have a very important role this season when it comes to the run game, protecting Peyton Thorne, protecting my happiness, a lot of the viewers' happiness by and large. So here we go. This is going to be a mouthful here for who they lose. They lose Kevin Jarvis, okay? A.J. Arcuri, Blake Buter, Luke Campbell, Matt Allen. You keep Jared Horst, J.D. Duplain, Nick Samac, Matt Carrick, Spencer Brown. You also add Washington State transfer Brian Green. However, there's young guys that are still familiar names like Dallas Fincher, Gino Vandermark, Ethan Boyd, Brandon Baldwin. With that said, Stephen, right now, we always talk about how thin the depth is maybe with experience because last year, I just named off 5 names. You know, like if a guy goes down, you have experience there. Not a lot of experience now. Let's just talk about the starting 5 right now. Let's say a perfect world, they're all healthy. How do you feel about the starting 5 right now going into the season? Is this reason for optimism, you think?
I think their starting 5 could be solid. About as,
Okay.
and I thought last year's line was solid. So I think your probably realistic best case scenario is about as the exact same performance as last year, honestly. And I think that'll get you some places. You won't have Kenneth Walker to maximize, sort of every block and every run play and everything. But I think that'd be good enough to get them, to have a successful-ish season. And like you said, though, the depth is just non-existent. But the starting 5, yeah. I think Horst could have a big year. I think he could, if he takes that step, he could be. I think he could push for all Big Ten of some kind. Same thing with J.D. Duplain. He's just been steady and steady and steady. I don't know how much more he has to grow, I guess. But
Sure.
After missing the spring, I'm curious to see him come back and see what he's up to. Samac's another guy. I think I've always been a big fan of his. And he's played a lot of football by now. I think he's going now that he can really, wrap both hands around this job for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to flourish. I really do. I think I don't know about all Big Ten again for him because I don't want to go off the deep end here, but I think he'll have a really nice year. And then right guard is really the intriguing spot. Matt Carrick coming back off his leg injury, 6-year senior. He's been the guy repping there every time we've been out of practice. So that says a lot, and that's a guy that with a heck of a lot of experience that you'd like to have. And then Spencer Brown is, he's a right tackle, and they really just have like no competition at tackle right now. Basically, You got Boyd and Baldwin behind both of them, and they're just so young, redshirt freshmen. Like unless you're a true just monster, you're not expecting a redshirt freshman tackle to like be in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
You really hope that they don't have to be, and now that's just the situation. So. On that front, Chris Kapilovic said the other day that Brandon Baldwin is a little bit ahead of Boyd. So if you need to get into a third tackle situation, probably going to be Baldwin, at this point. But again, you definitely hope that you don't have to turn to those guys for any extended time. A lot of folks have asked me about the rotation and everything again. And look, what they did last year, that's not like Chris Kapilovic's way. Like, that's not like his secret or anything. He just had this really unique surplus of old, experienced dudes who could all play without fluctuating the production level on the field, and then he could keep them all happy that way, and he could keep them fresh. And a lot of those dudes got hurt during the year, so he had 9 guys that you just listed, that he could play, that had played ball before. He doesn't have that this year, so he's not just going to be rotating guys in willy-nilly just for fun, just to hit a quota or whatever. I think he's going to rotate whoever is ready, and as of right now, I could see that just being Brian Green, because that's a 6-year guy as well. Played a lot of football. They say he's repping at 50-50 roughly at guard and center. I think, to me, I picture him sort of ending up in the role Blake Buter would play for so long, where he was just the swing guy at either guard spot or center. It's just like, where's a hole? Plug Buter in there, and he's good to go. He's reliable. I kind of think that'll be a Brian Green's type of role this year. I think they will script in some series for him, like the rotation, but it'll just be a one-man rotation at that point.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And being ready, obviously, you just said that Baldwin probably has the leg up on Boyd right now. But what about the other young guys like Dallas Fincher or Gino Vandenmark or anyone else that I'm not naming right now? Is there any indication that maybe some guys are maybe not even on schedule, but maybe a little ahead of schedule where we can expect to see these guys early on? Or is this a wait and see what unfolds in week 1, 2, and maybe 3?
I think probably. So, like I said, Green would probably be your top interior swing guy, or he's going to be your first depth guy at any of those spots. Mm-hmm. After that, I think it would be Vandermark. He's been playing some center as well, and that's something that Kapilovic has been doing. He's getting more guys snapping this fall. Just I don't know if he's paranoid or what, but he's like, I got 8 guys snapping just in case. So he really wants those three interior spots to be interchangeable. So I think Vandermark would probably be number 2 in terms of just plug him in at one of these spots. And then beyond that, I really don't know. Fincher maybe, because he's been around longer, but he's not quite as big as a Wigginton, who's very much still young. So I guess I don't really know where the rubber would meet the road there. They're all second-team guys at this point. Wigginton at guard and Green at center or guard, and then Vandermark was at center yesterday. So that was the interior 3 there. And that's been pretty consistent with Fincher in or out there at center as well.
He's got Tyler Hunt, Daniel Barker doing snaps too, just in case. I'm kidding. That's a
never
joke.
know. They should probably do some kick slides in case they got to play tackle, I guess. But
hey, now, no doubt about that. And actually, let's just go right to the tight ends right now, because this is a very intriguing position. This might be the best tight end room Michigan State has had in quite some time. Then again, I don't really know how much that is saying, because this has been a thin position for Michigan State for quite some time. So who do they lose? I just threw Connor Hayward's name in here for the tight end. I mean, look, I understand he played the Connor Hayward position last year, but for sake of conversation, okay, tight end room loses Connor Hayward. That's the best place to put him here for this preview. So there you go. You keep the most Big Ten player that's ever lived, former punter, current tight end, Tyler Hunt. You keep Malik Carr. And then also you add one of my favorite players going into this season, Daniel Barker. Stephen, point blank, who starts? Or is the question a little more complicated than that? Are each 3 so different in their own skill set that it's going to depend on the matchup and everything? How do you break down who has the leg up in that tight end room?
I think it's the latter. Honestly, I do. I think it's whoever runs out there for the first snap is probably going to depend on what they have the first 1 to 2 plays scripted as. If it's a outside zone or something, they need somebody to block a defensive end. Tyler Hunt's going to be out there. If they're going to play action pass and send somebody out on a route, could be Malik Carr, could be Barker, could be both. I think there's no doubt, to your point, that this is the deepest room, especially of the Mel Tucker era. Deepest room though in a while. I mean, even probably going back to Charlie Gann, Linthicum, that type of era, early 2010s. I'm forgetting 1 or 2 guys. Selleck, yeah, exactly. But they had those 2, 3 of those guys all together. But yeah, it's no doubt the deepest in a while. And they have some dudes who look like tight ends now, right? So the first year of this staff, he had Ted Gilmore had Tyler Hunt out there just hanging on for dear life, salute. You respect the heck out of it.
Go get him.
He was not a tight end out there trying to play tight end and just dangling in the wind. So you respect that. And then year 2, you got Connor Hayward, who played well. I'm not knocking him, but he's just one of one. There's no other Connor Haywards out there, and you're probably not going to get another one. So just a non-traditional tight end. And now finally in year 3, you have a room stocked with some dudes who look like tight ends. And that starts with Tyler Hunt too, because everybody's mentioned he's put on a lot of weight. Apparently maybe a little too much weight, because I guess he had some off-season surgery and really went hard on the Chick-fil-A and went a little bit overboard. But they're working on getting him back right.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, we've been there. He said his recommendation is chicken nuggets with the mixed with the mac and cheese, mixed with the barbecue sauce, apparently, like all together. So for the folks out there that want the Tyler Hunt meal, that's that. Right. So he looks good though. I think he's obviously going to be their go-to blocker, I think, at this point. Malik Carr obviously has big play potential at any given moment. The word on him is that they just need him to continue to buy in more on the blocking end, and we'll see. Same thing with Daniel Barker, basically. And I've heard he's been tearing it up in practice. I've heard he's been a problem for the defense at times this year. And same thing with him. He's always been a pass catcher, but they want to see him get his nose dirty and get his hands dirty, I guess I should say, get his nose in there and get physical as a blocker. And I guess he's from what I hear, he's willing to, just doesn't have the technique or anything like that down yet, or maybe the playbook down of what he's supposed to be doing on certain run concepts and whatnot. But between those 3, man, you got a lot there. And it makes me think of when Jay Johnson first got hired here, like his very, very first media session with us. He said, the tight end is the MVP of my offense. And, like I was just saying, these first 2 years have been very unusual in that regard, at that position. And now maybe this year, I think we're going to finally see a little bit of that. And I think we could see 2 on the field at once, maybe one split out, one on the line. I'm very intrigued about what he can do with Barker specifically in the screen game, because I think he's got some catch and run to him. So very excited to see how they use those guys.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up, that you can, go to 12 personnel, have 2 tight ends. Like, okay, one guy's going to block, Tyler Hunt, and the other guy's going to be a good threat down the field, Malik Carr, or like have 2 guys that are catching, targets in Malik Carr. But God, the possibilities are endless. And for a guy that's as creative as Jay Johnson, like Kenneth Walker's gone. That obviously sucks for his job. But man, like, the tight end room helps mitigate that damage a little bit. It doesn't make up for it, but it mitigates it. Like,
they're gonna be able to attack people in new ways this year that they didn't last year. There's gonna be some new stuff, I think, that you see on that side of things.
It'll be fun. Maybe flea flickers that involve the tight end now this year. Maybe not even a running back. You like a tunnel screen flea flicker. You like that? Oh, do you know what? I'm gonna edit all this out. I'm gonna send this file to Jay Johnson, and we will script out the first 10 plays.
We are innovating over here, folks. Innovating.
We are elbows deep in MSU's offensive game plan right now. Let's go, baby. So, Steven, get ready for this segue. You sitting down for this one? I think this is going to be a good one. You can bet on the tight end room being improved from last season. You could also bet on your favorite teams, your favorite sports at betonline.net. You like that one? You like that one?
Because, you're good at this, man.
There we go. Yeah. See, we have like the number 1 friend of the program on, and we're also talking about the number 1 sports betting website for all your gambling needs. That's betonline.net. Steven, I'm going to keep you on the screen for this one. Why not? We're having a good time. Betonline.net is the place you have to go to place your futures, your just in-game bets, anything that you want to really place, because, they have anything that you want to bet on. We're talking Major League Baseball. Steven, I know that's Steven's main sport right there. You got at least 5 futures out for the World Series. Don't put your thumbs down like that. I know you're watching all 162 games of your favorite team over there.
My last bet was a baseball bet, actually, and I took bad advice from these sportsbook folks, whatever the analytics folks who tell you where to put your money and everything, and took bad advice on a baseball bet. Sure enough.
I bet that advice did not come from betonline.net, Steven, because they have you covered top to bottom this season. Not just Steven's favorite sport, baseball, but also NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the best and top online resource for all your sports wagering information, from live in-game betting, scores, and podcasts. They have you covered top to bottom. So head to BetOnline today. Use a mobile device. Learn more about the trends and actions happening today. That's at BetOnline, where the game starts.
You can bet on esports?
You could bet on esports with BetOnline, Steven.
Amazing.
That's right. You could probably bet on weather on BetOnline. Like it's incredible.
Is there a Locked On esports betting host?
Oh man,
is that job available? Because
we can run that up the flagpole. Here, I'll throw your name in. Yeah, let me.
I'm sure there's a Locked On esports probably, but Locked On esports betting is a new market. I think that maybe somebody needs to tap into. But all right, carry on. Where are we at?
I think we could corner that market. I don't know how many esports gambling podcasts there are out there, but you know what, Steven? Let's just do it together and dominate.
I don't know. Things that people don't know they need it until they have it. You know, people might not think, "Oh, we don't need that. We don't need that." But until you have it, whoa, man! Imagine betting on that League of Legends match. Woo.
Yeah, and then like you're on a yacht in the Caymans because of our betting advice for esports. Like it's golden. So there you go. We're both going to be quitting our jobs by week 6 this football season. We got this unlocked. Just esports gambling. Love this. I don't have a good segue for this one, Steven. Let's talk wide receivers. That's the best I got right there. This is a fun room. Just like the tight ends, running backs, you have reason to feel good about it. Wide receivers, I got a lot of reason to feel good about this room, right? Okay, yes, you lose Jalen Naylor. That's it. Like, that's pretty much all you lose right there. You keep Jayden Reed, Tre Mosley, Keon Coleman, Tori Foster, Christian Fitzpatrick, Terry Lockett, Wolverine Slayer, Cade McDonald. Let's just throw his name in there. Why not? And then you add no transfers, but young guns like 4-star Jeremy Bernard and 4-star Antonio Gates Jr. Steven, is the starting trio simply Jayden Reed, Tre Mosley, Keon Coleman, or do you think that there is some serious competition for that third spot? And if so, what other name is there an eyebrow arched for, really?
No, I think you're right. On paper and even really in practice, there is competition for that third spot. But when everyone's competing against Keon Coleman, like, is it really a competition? You know what I'm saying? He's kind of in his own class, right? Like, he just... Yeah, it's all on the table for everybody, but like that guy's in the same division as me too. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if he's in the competition, he's winning it. So that's how I see that. But Jeremy Bernard, I think, is really making waves from everything I hear. Obviously came in the spring, so he had a lot to build off of versus like Gates and Jerron Glover came in the fall or summer, whatever you want to call it. But Jeremy Bernard, I don't even think he's like originally I was saying like, okay, he'll be at the bottom of the rotation. He'll be like guy 5 or 6, and maybe get in like 10 snaps a game or something. I'm thinking he's much higher in the rotation than I anticipated. It could be like if you just ranked them, like if those are your 3, he could be 4 coming out of this camp, quite honestly. Yeah. And then, but you've got other skill sets and body types and everything. And I like that about the room. When you were saying, it's a fun room from top to bottom, Christian Fitzpatrick is a guy that I think folks still shouldn't forget about. He's a big body dude at like 6'4", sort of built like Felton Davis a little bit taller actually, I think. But he's a guy to watch. Terry Lockett's still there. He's sort of a textbook slot guy. Tori Foster, late blooming basketball dude who has got that athletic ability that, he stepped in when Naylor went down last year. He was the choice there. So, and then, I think Tre Mosley, we see him making ridiculous catches on social media every day. So he's got a step. It seems like he's going to make a step forward. And man, I think Keon's going to produce, I think he's going to have a big season probably. Gotcha. And there's going to be a lot of trickle down, from, I think the attention that Jayden Reed's going to get. So yeah, there could be time to eat for these other receivers that aren't number 1.
I'm not done talking about Keon Coleman. This is a hot name, and I'm going to keep talking about it. So why is he clear cut, like in your opinion, the third guy right now? Is it what you've seen in practice? Is it what you've heard out of practice? Is it a combination of both? Is it just the fact that he did get some playing time at the end of last year, or what has you sold on second year Keon Coleman? All of it?
Yeah, all that. Yeah, I mean, and just looking at the guys. If you just lined them up and been like, I'd pick him out of the line and be like, he's probably gonna be the one, right? If I knew nothing about the team. Yeah, just the attributes, the leaping ability. I hear he's explosive and can change direction. I mean, he's freaking big. He's very bulky after another year in the weight room. He's put on some good weight. He looks different. I mean, he looks like a pro out there just from a build standpoint. So, and then, he played last year. He's the first name out of everyone's mouth when you ask about some receivers. Everybody brings him up. I think, even in spring and last year, there was some hesitation to sort of to tamp down. People wanted to tamp down, I think, on the expectations for him and everything. Now it's like they can't deny it, I think, is kind of the sense that I've gotten, because they just keep bringing him up and there's no like couching it. It's just like, yeah, Keon's coming around, he's doing things, and they just kind of have that look in their eye.
I love hearing that. Let's go. There we go. Last position group is quarterback. Steven, do you want to talk about the battle for the starting quarterback position right now, or how do you want to handle it? Really tight competition between Peyton Thorne and everyone else, right? Like this. Hang on to this one.
No, it's not. Okay, I'm not going to let you spin this, because since I've been back, I've covered too many quarterback competitions. So it's just nice to not have one, to be honest. So no, it's very nice. Everyone wants to know about the backup and everything. So I think right now it's Noah Kim, and then the other guys. Okay. We'll see what they come out of camp with. Again, another position. Scrimmages are gonna tell a lot. So that's first ones this weekend. We'll see what comes out of that. But Noah Kim, I think, has a decent leg up now, just with his experience. Those guys clearly trust him. He knows the system, but in terms of raw talent, like Kaiten Hauser is a guy, and I've heard that all the time. So it's kind of about whether he can bridge that, close that gap of, I don't have the reps in the system, but maybe I have the raw talent. But Noah Kim might know the personnel better, and the coaches might trust him a little bit more. So it's whether it's where he can make up that ground, I think, this camp. But it sounds like Noah Kim, at least for now, is sort of the guy in pretty firmly at number 2.
Okay.
And that's that.
Gotcha. And I like Kim being the backup just for like this analytic that I like to use, which is I love a backup quarterback just being tatted up. Like that's a good guy coming off the bench right there. That's you like that sabermetric right there. That's
great. I've never heard of that. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's a very high end system that we use over here on this end of the microphone. We're heavy in analytics over here in the Locked On Spartans podcast. So yeah, if your backup quarterback is tatted, you're feeling good about the number 2 guy right there, coming in with a nice edge to him. Steven, this is how we're going to end the episode. And okay, so we did this with Nick Baumgartner last week. We broke down the defense. Honestly, very optimistic conversation. Today was no different. Very optimistic conversation. Of course, this isn't a perfect team, but I feel like we have more right to be high than we do low. An emailer, Jeff, lockedonspartans@gmail.com, he asked us too. The email headline was excitement level to 10. And he basically asked, like the question all of us are asking, like, do us Michigan State fans, are we in the right to be this optimistic coming into this season? Or are you going to throw a bucket of water on these flames?
Yeah,
should we be?
So you want me to tear it all down on my way out of here, basically? Or like
that's up to you. It's up to you.
Well, very quickly, like everything that I said today that was positive and exciting and optimistic can all crumble very, very quickly under this.
Okay, there it is. All right.
It can all crumble like that. They could come out of here and struggle to run the ball against Western, run for 58 yards on, 28 carries or whatever. And that could be trouble. Or they get a bad injury, early on the offensive line. That could crumble it. So, yeah, if you want a dose of reality or the other side of the coin, there it is. Okay. And I will say, just overall in closing, like my top line, thought on this offense as a whole is that clearly Kenneth Walker was in the driver's seat last year, but then they were incredibly balanced though, and I give them credit. And they're always going to want to be balanced. I think it was 55-45 run to pass.
Okay.
They're always going to want to do that, but it was clearly Kenneth Walker was in the driver's seat. When there was an emergency, you turn to him. When you need a big play, you turn to him. When whatever, he was at the front of the line, and the passing game supported them. Those roles, I think, have to reverse this year. Peyton Thorne has to take a step forward with these receivers, all those guys included. They all have to take a step forward and be the dominant hand for this team, I think, for them to get anywhere close to where they want to go, anywhere close to maximizing their potential. The passing game has to be the flag bearer. The running game has to be the complement, I think. And we'll see, because there were games last year where K9 wasn't going off. They were rare, but there were moments in games where he wasn't going off, and the passing game did not pick up the slack and did not, pick up the banner. So that to me is the biggest thing. If you want to distill this whole episode into like 2 sentences, it's that the passing game needs to step forward and carry the banner if this team's gonna reach its potential.
Couldn't have said it any better, and I'm still gonna put the entire mortgage on over 7.5 wins. So that wasn't enough to completely kill my optimism. So there you go. I'm gonna
I'm
go
picking
visit.
8-4, I think, right now. So
Okay.
it's just a good season. I don't know what excitement on 10 means. Like, be reasonable with it, but I think they've got a shot at their best case scenario to be a dark horse contender,
Yeah.
and at the worst case, just sneaking into a bowl game, I guess.
Yeah, like be reasonable about it, like a level-headed person like yourself, which is why we love having you on the podcast. Or be a delusional slappy in August like myself, where I think the floor is 11 wins right now. So that's a rat. Great balance here.
It's a good way to end it, though, because I feel like everybody we pushed everybody up to the top of the hill, and then I got to pull the rug out right at the last
It's
minute. I kind
great.
of like that. Yeah.
It's great. I also can't wait for after the first quarter when we're only up 7-3 against Western, and I will start thinking we're going 5-7 this year. I can't wait for the crash of this optimism because as a lot of people know, boy, emotionally, this is a roller coaster between my ears here. But that's why we have Stephen Brooks on, and who will be joining us throughout the season after games to just break down everything. Obviously a smart football mind. So Stephen, we'll be hearing from you a lot this upcoming football season. Anything you want to promote right now? Anything to throw out there for 24/7 Sports?
Just read us, visit us, join us, hang out with us, just support us and all that. SpartanTailgate.com, and you can find your way from there. So appreciate everybody. Thanks for having me on, man. I'll see you soon.
Steven, you're the best. Everyone loves you. I love you. So, gang, thank you so much for making us your first listen of the week. We're getting really close to football season. Until then, hey, keep it tuned here 5 days a week. Have a great week. Love you all. Go green. Let's go. Woo!